Thank you everyone for joining us. My name is Faustine Chan. I'm the Business Innovation Manager for BBB serving the Pacific Southwest. And we've been holding webinars just to help our business owners at this time, just to navigate whatever you're going through right now, just to help you with their business. This webinar is being recorded, so if anytime you do miss any of the information or if you do need to review it, it will be posted 1 to 2 business days on events.bbbcommunity.org. If you do have questions throughout this webinar, please utilize the chat option or the Q&A, and we can answer those questions. So we have 2 great speakers today from Digital Airstrike. We have Scott Pechstein. He is the Vice President of Business Development at Digital Airstrike, an award-winning consumer engagement and intelligent lead response technology partner, helping 5,000 plus dealers drive traffic, leads, and conversions while improving customer follow-up, online reputations, and social media strategies. He started in the auto retail in the 1990s, holding positions such as the VP of Sales and Customer Experience, where he managed sales, account management, wholesale, and OEM channel. We also have Lori Glen. She is a senior director of sales at Digital Airstrike. She leads the social media and digital engagement company. In her role, she oversees and inspires teams of sales executives and client advocates. She has over 10 years of sales experience managing and marketing experience and has worked in 2 other advertising agencies prior to joining the company in 2014. She graduated from NAU with a bachelor's degree in advertising and marketing, and in her free time, she enjoys spending time with her friends, family, and relaxing at home with her 2 dogs. So please welcome both of our speakers today from Digital Airstrike.
Well, thanks for having us, Faustine. I
Hello,
appreciate that.
thank you.
Lori's joining us from the corporate office, not far from you, Faustine, in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona, where we've got about 150 plus of our employees, and we've got a few offices around. We've got an office here in Southern California. It's a sunny day here as well, not quite as hot as the desert. We've got an office in Northern California, and we've got an office also in Detroit. A little bit about the company. We've got a little over 5,000 clients. We are worldwide, believe it or not. We've got clients in all different countries. We started out mainly auto endemic, but over the last 11 years, we've expanded our reach to all kind of verticals, whether it's real estate, dentistry, home care, healthcare, the list goes on and on. So we've got clients of all makes and sizes. So with that, today we are going to talk a little bit about ways that we could help just about any business. Lori, what are we talking about today?
So we are going to give you guys 10 very specific tips to help you improve your online presence, which is especially important right now as we are living with COVID-19. So we want to be very concise and give you guys really actionable items to take away with.
So it's all about the online presence. So the majority of the tips that we're going to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, really come down to your new front door, right? And that's your online presence. So with no further ado, tip number 1, connect with your consumers on social. Social is where the eyeballs are, right? You look at the stats and the numbers are growing and growing every single week, month, quarter, year, but they've never grown as fast as they have in the last 4 months. Here are some recent stats. Facebook use has increased over 50%, 53%. Instagram use over 30%. That's a big, big number. To begin with, you've got 2.5 million plus Facebook accounts. You've got over 1 billion Instagram accounts, and that's grown leaps and bounds. If you're asking yourself why, a lot of folks are going there because, quite frankly, they have the time. They're working from home. But what's really popular is it's where people get their news and their current events, whether it's following up with protests or COVID or even the weather. They're going to social. So with all the eyeballs on social, why not advertise there? So one thing that we do for our customers, and we're big proponents of, is connecting online. Whether that's a social strategy, every business by now should have a social account. The most basic thing that's been overlooked from a lot of the folks that we speak with just over the last 4 months is just letting people know that you're open. right? If you've got revised hours, letting them know. Here in California, over the past 4 months, a lot of things have been closed, and you may call a business, but they have revised hours, and you just get the answer machine, and then the thought is, all right, let's not order pizza tonight because the pizza place is probably closed. Get on social, let them know that you're open for business. Furthermore, after you've done the obvious of letting them know you're open for business, let them know what you're doing to combat what's going on, that you're wearing gloves if you're a restaurant, that it's a masked environment where it's a safe environment if you want to come pick up your food or even dine in. But using those social avenues, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, the list goes on and on, those are the big ones, definitely needs to be a staple in your strategy, especially now.
Yep, I totally agree. And with that comes to making sure that not only are you advertising on social media and going where the eyeballs are, but they are also actively engaging with your consumers. So there is what we call in the social media business, the cost of ignoring. And that's when you post something on your page and everybody's talking about it, the whole community, but you're not chiming in. And so what you guys really need to make sure that you do is watch your post for engagement, especially any ones that you promote, because those will have more eyeballs behind it. If you're paying for ads or anything and there's trolls or maybe someone who's just commenting a lot and it's really getting kind of negative, or even if it's off topic and it changes political and that's not what your post was about, you can always delete or hide the negative ones, which we definitely recommend because we don't want it to be distracting. And you can also block comments. If someone starts getting really crazy on there and keeps coming back, go ahead and block them and make sure that not only is your message being seen in the way that you want it to, but also how you're engaging and how the community is engaging. So you got to pay attention. Can't just set it and forget it.
So the third tip that we want to leave everybody with is leveraging features on social sites like Facebook Marketplace and Nextdoor. A little story about Facebook Marketplace. I love it. I'd be lost without it. I've got a little habit on my weekends. I like to, well, my wife likes to buy things. I like to sell things. So it's a match made in heaven. I've sold everything from my cars, plural, on Facebook Marketplace to $5 toys that my kids don't use anymore. For those not familiar with Facebook Marketplace, it's if you look on your screen, it's that little house with the tent on it that's all blue. It's part of Facebook. So if you have the Facebook app, or even if you just log into Facebook, if you click on it, you can search by distance. It usually defaults to 20 miles. You could zoom in and out. And if you're looking for, it's funny that there's a weight set there in the presentation. No, I look maybe yoga mats. But one thing that I've seen are weights. Just 5, 10, 15, 20-pound dumbbells have been going for all the money on Facebook Marketplace because everybody's been stuck at home and all the gyms are closed. But Facebook Marketplace is great because you can see the consumer, right? You can see the consumer, you can see their friends, you can see their interests, you can see if they have kids, you can see their families, and it's really easy to sell a $20,000, $25,000 vehicle to somebody if you already know all their interests and you know everything that they're about. I had sold a truck last year, and the person that inquired on the truck was an avid surfer. And one of my very first comments to this person is, "You're going to love taking this truck to the beach." And that resonated with this person. So Facebook Marketplace is really, really fun. It allows you to learn about your consumer, and it's a pretty high close rate. Again, I'm a walking poster for Facebook Marketplace. Another one is Nextdoor. Nextdoor is more of a localized app. It's a way to sell to your local market. It's got the same premise as Facebook Marketplace. It's a one-on-one. One place where we see a lot of our people in our industry, specifically automotive, drop the ball on Facebook Marketplace is the interaction. So if you do have things on Facebook Marketplace, you want to keep your eyes open to your Facebook messages that come in, because that's the primary means of communication on Marketplace is the messenger. So as long as you're on Messenger, you're even gauged on how fast you respond, and Facebook gives you a score that's public for the buyers to see. As long as you're responding, there's not even much follow-up needed. You'd be surprised how quickly you could sell things on Facebook. And the best part of Facebook Marketplace is it's absolutely free. It's absolutely free to advertise on Facebook Marketplace. So if you haven't tried it, we highly, highly encourage you to take a look at it.
Yep, definitely agree. And with that, we're talking about free things and what you can do to really get yourself out there. The top listing that you need to make sure looks incredible is your Google My Business listing. So there are a couple different things that if you haven't done it, you need to get online right after this and get it fixed up. So first and foremost, you got to make sure that all of your hours are correct, your address. If you change your hours for COVID, go on there and change it as well, so that the consumers know that all of your information is accurate. Also, for the Q&A section, don't forget about that. That's where you can really make sure that questions you're hearing every day about your business are displayed right there on the front page, so that somebody doesn't have to pick up the phone and call you about the same question that you're getting every day. And it makes it very convenient for them to have that answer right there. Lastly, a lot of people don't know this, a little pro tip, you can always display your coupons and special offers. So one of the best ways to display coupons and special offers is by utilizing video. You'll hear about it a lot. People are engaging more with videos. Google says it's the way to go. Facebook. So this is a Google Motion tile, and it will display right on your Google My Business listing. And what you'll do is you'll highlight your why buys. That's what's going to get the most engagement. And just some pro tips for you guys. You want to keep it really short. You want to make sure that the content has like a clear call to action or a very clear special, so the audience understands what you're promoting. But that video is going to get a ton of views right there on the first page of Google. So, and we will set this up. We obviously offer a service like this, so call Digital Airstrike if you need help with it. But if you're a guru, it's something you can go set up for free yourself too.
So I wanted to comment on this slide, Laura, if you don't mind. Something
Yeah,
I learned when I started with the company not too long ago, zero-click search results.
Yeah.
What Google tells us is that over 50%, the majority of consumers searching for a business will click once. What that means is they'll go ahead and put ABC business in the Google search bar, and then Google will go ahead and display all of the results for ABC business. Typically, you'll see ABC business pop up number one. So the point is the consumer then never clicks on. The majority of consumers never make it past that first page. And everything Lori just talked about is free. It's a little bit of work. We'd be more than willing to help you. And on that search results page, you can have advertisements, absolutely free. You can even go as far as to have motion tiles, AKA video, that the consumer could see. So you got to figure if half the consumers aren't even clicking on your website, more than half, it is the majority, why not advertise? What a perfect place to advertise. So we talk about this all the time. It's a really big deal, and the price is right. It's free. It's free for businesses to do. Monitoring your online reputation, tip number 5 of the afternoon. This is a big one. So it wasn't that long ago. I was in high school, I don't know, about 2 decades ago. And, you know, the teachers and my parents always threatened me with the permanent record. Do you remember, Lori? It's going to go on your permanent record. You better get to class on time.
I do.
You better behave. And then, fortunately enough, you know, by the time school ended, we learned that there's no such thing as a permanent record. It was a fable. There is a permanent record on your business, unfortunately. That could be good or that could be bad. Monitoring your online reputation is your public report card for everybody and anybody to see. And it's really important that you monitor it. It's really important that you know what's going on. You know, let's face it, when we've gone out to dinner back in the good old days, right? Remember when we went to restaurants and we dined out for lunch and dinner? We looked at Yelp, we looked at Google, we looked at Facebook, we looked at ratings. These are the things that are driving eyeballs to your business, and it's driving people in. One bad review, ladies and gentlemen, could cost you tens of thousands of dollars in the short run and in the long run. You know, if you're a car dealership or you're a boat dealership, it could easily cost you $10,000 in 1 week. If you're selling pizza slices, it could cost you very well thousands and thousands of dollars over the months and the quarters to come. So some tips that we have for you to your online reputation, to monitor your online reputation. Not only monitor it, but respond, right? Respond to these reviews in a timely manner. The biggest misnomer that we hear, that we see when we talk to potential clients is, you know what, Digital Airstrike, we've got it down. We respond back to every bad review and we do it within an hour. That's only half the battle. Just as important as responding to a bad review is responding to a good review, because a lot of businesses feel the need only to respond to bad reviews. And what that does psychologically, if I go to that page and I had a good experience and I see that they only care about responding to the bad experiences and they don't respond to any of the good experiences, I'm not going to be prone to leave a message. If I then see on the flip side, if I see that they respond to all the messages, I know that they care, I know that they value my response, and I'm probably going to be a little bit more prone to leave a good experience. Even if somebody goes to your website and just gives you 5 stars, respond to it. Respond to it. They don't even need a note. Respond to it and just say, thank you. We are glad you had an experience. I'm the president of the tire store that you visited. Here's my email address. I'd love to have you back anytime. There's no greater compliment than a referral. It's a perfect way to engage. The more content you put up on those pages, the more relevant your business will be. Bots pick up on words. It's only going to help your organic placement. It's going to help SEO. There's really nothing negative to spending your time and responding to both negative and positive reviews. Some other tips: don't argue. Please don't argue. There's always going to be an angry customer, whether you did wrong, whether it's their perception. Maybe you didn't do anything wrong. That's not the point. The client is always right, especially on public forums. Try to take that conversation offline. If there's a combative conversation, try to take it offline. Kill them with kindness online. Again, the customer's always right. And again, this is for everybody to see. The last thing you want to do is get in an argument with somebody on a public forum. Lori?
That is exactly correct. And it's interesting because you do see like the memes and things online where the restaurant owner, somebody will actually snap back at the customer and then it will kind of get like a lot of likes on Facebook or whatever. I can tell you guys that's definitely the exception to the rule. We never advise that you try that, even though it's like, oh, I'm going to call out this bad customer or whatever. It doesn't work like that way in real life. It's pretty much the exception that the public responds to that in a favorable way. So definitely good advice, Scott. And right up there is making sure that not only is your star rating above a 4, 4.5 would be the best that you can do, but also making sure that your reviews are recent. So in order to do that, you have to ask your customers for reviews. So what we suggest is sending out a simple survey. And what happens with that?
Oh, and we lost Lori. Lori, I think you hit the mute button. Can you hear us? I still see Lori's on, but it looks like she's muted. Well, while we wait for Lori to come back, this is a topic that I'm pretty excited about as well. You know, a lot of folks think it's all about 5 stars, right? We talk to prospects and they say, you know, Digital Airstrike, we already have 4.5 stars. And Lori just said it a few minutes ago. If we have 4.5 stars, we're best in class. We surveyed. We have an annual survey that goes out to clients, and they do value the stars the most. That is by far what they look at the most. But as Lori was talking to, recency is also important, right? If I'm looking at a restaurant and they had 5 stars and everything was great, but the last review was 6 months ago, the first thing that's going to come to mind, are they even open for business? Because they haven't had a review in 6 months. Or boy, it's really slipping because maybe they were a hot restaurant, but maybe they got taken over by new management and nobody's reviewed them. So it's really important to keep up. We call that recency, and have recent posts. It's also important to get critical mass, right? You don't only want recent posts, you don't only want a high star rating, but you want a lot of ratings, because if you have 10 people that went in and gave you all 5 stars, it only takes 2 people with a 1 star to drive you down to 4 stars, if you're following me on the math. So be careful. If you don't have enough critical mass, 1 or 2 bad reviews could really knock you down overnight. Now, if you have 500 reviews and you've got a 4.5, 4.6 rating, it's going to take a lot of bad reviews and a lot of time to drive you down even a fraction of a point. So not only recency, not only volume that we talked about, but you also want to respond. The consumers also look for responses on the comments. So just to recap, what's important on review sites: stars, comments, responses to the comments, recency, and volume. Lori, I don't know if you joined us. I see you there. I'll wait for you for a second. I think you might still be on mute. Lori, you're with us? All right, Lori's taking a little break. No worries. Number 7. Tip number 7, use targeted advertising on social. So earlier in the presentation, we had mentioned all the eyeballs that are on social, right? Over a 50% climb in Facebook, over a 30% climb in Instagram. This is where you have to advertise. We talked about advertising on Facebook Marketplace. 2 places or 3 things that you can do on social alone is targeting your own consumers. So how this works is a lot of our businesses have CRMs, right? We know who our clients are. We know who our prospects are. You can take that data, specifically email addresses and names, and you could put that into Facebook. And Facebook has a really good match rate. So if I were to take, let's say, 1,000 email addresses, and I were to put that into Facebook is able to match the majority of those people. And the reason why is because that primary email address is what most people use for Facebook when they set up their Facebook account or their Instagram account. So it's a great way to target these consumers and basically go after them. You can also set up what we call lookalike audiences. So lookalike audiences is where you have basically a demographic. Oh, Lori came back.
I'm here. Sorry about that.
There she is. We lost her for a little bit. Lori, we're on slide number 7. We're talking about targeted advertising.
Yeah, I heard you guys. I could
fantastic.
hear you guys. You couldn't hear me. Yeah.
I'll take this one. I feel like I'm hogging all the screen time.
Yep.
We'll give you the next slide. But ladies and gentlemen, the lookalike audiences is basically setting up if you've got those 1,000 clients and you say, okay, I've advertised via target audiences to these 1,000 clients, Facebook, I want you to go out and find a demographic just like this. Maybe since our office is in Scottsdale, I'll use an example. We are selling sports cars. Typically, you don't sell sports cars to 18-year-olds. Typically, you don't sell sports cars to senior citizens. So the class we're going from is a 25-year-old to a 50-year-old demographic. It's their Corvettes, so we're looking for male. You could really target down to gender. You can target down to demographic. You can target down to geo. And then the last thing on this slide is retargeting. Retargeting is simply going back to the consumers, for instance, that may have visited your website. And you cookie the consumers that go to your website and you retarget to them. Typically, a consumer has to see an ad 4 or 5 times before he or she clicks on it. So retargeting is really, really good money spent. You know, the net of this slide really is going after consumers that you know are in the market. You know, when we used to advertise in the newspaper and the radio and TV years and years ago, it's kind of like a shotgun approach, right? You're basically advertising all these people. Let's say you're advertising during the Super Bowl, for instance, and maybe you're Pepsi. Who's to say that 100% of the people watching the Super Bowl even drink soda? So again, with social, you have the ability to go after the people that drink soda, the type of person that drinks soda, and the people that drink soda within 20 miles of your business. So it's extremely versus a shotgun approach. It's more of a sniper approach. It's very, very, very targeted. Lori?
All right. So we were talking about video earlier and how it gets more engagement than a stale ad, but that goes for everything really. Most consumers, when they're researching anything, are going to watch at least one video. So you need to make sure that you really have video down. And there are some easy ways to do it and also get your staff involved as long as you have the right tools. So the first thing that you would want to do is let people know that you are open. You'd be surprised how many businesses haven't communicated that yet. And a consumer may just assume that you haven't opened due to everything with COVID. So first thing, we are open, we're ready, we're here. And also, as Scott was saying earlier, anything that highlights what you've done to flatten the curve, because what we do know is the public cares about that and they want to see what you're doing. Second, with video, video that gets really good engagement is any videos where you're highlighting offers and incentives. So I know a lot of you are probably used to running ads with this percentage off. Switch over to video. Have somebody in your staff talk about why it's so great, or even better, include that offer incentive along with a video testimonial. So now I've got an actual customer saying why they purchased and how great it is, and here's your offer. I'm much more likely to convert all the way through and end up purchasing from you. So don't shy away from video. If you guys need the tools, we have a very easy tool that you guys could implement at your business. Just reach out to us. But if you're gonna do it on your own, make sure that they're under 60 seconds. No one's really watching videos longer than 2 minutes for this type of thing. So as we continue to talk about video, let me tell you why. Because there are over 1 billion hours spent on YouTube. And I mean, if you're using the internet constantly, you'll know, like, even when you're researching something, how to do something, where should I go for something, YouTube has become one of the most popular sites for that now. If you send a video in any kind of email or text message, your open rate actually jumps up to 70%. And that's a huge difference than just plain text. So you're also going to want to place videos on any of your landing pages as well. So think about all the areas on your website where you could have explanation videos or even promotional videos, because it does increase the conversion rate, sometimes up to 4 times. And we do know that if a consumer watches a video, they're further along in the purchasing cycle. So they are 71% of them are likely to purchase a product after watching a video. So don't think to yourself, hey, maybe I'll get back to it whenever we're less busy. It's making a huge difference, and it's something you really got to start now.
So I want to jump in on my 2 cents on video as well. We started, I've been in auto for the past 2 decades. Lori's been in auto most of her life as well. You know, our clients sell big ticket items. And the first thing I learned in retail many, many moons ago was the sale is a race to the relationship. Right? He or she who gets the relationship first wins. We see with a good experience and a good relationship, clients are even willing to pay hundreds, if not thousands of dollars more for that vehicle, whether it's a sports car, a truck, an SUV, what have you. And video really bridges that gap, because we've got a gap now. The world's been going video for a while now, for years and years and years. More people want to do their shopping at home. Now we've seen that trend catapult over the past 4 months. Not only do folks want to do all of their shopping at home, now they want to do their shopping and their buying at home. A lot of folks don't even want to come into the dealership given everything that's going on. So how do you have a relationship with somebody if it's just via email? 22% of emails are read. We have a 70% higher open rate on video. Video is the way to go. We practice what we preach at Digital Airstrike. It's how we communicate with our prospects and also our longtime clients. And the reaction we get is great. I can't tell you how often one of our clients will write back and just say, I never even talked to this person and I feel like I know them. I just watched a 2-minute video of my monthly recap. So I got to tell you, video is here to stay, and pandemic or no pandemic, it's video is definitely the wave of the future, and the future just fast forwarded. It's here. So if you're not doing video, you should definitely embrace it. Also, technology that's taken off is AI. So AI has been around for years, artificial intelligence. Why it's gained so much steam in the last 4 months? Why tip number 9 here this afternoon? Why it made the list is AI is a lot more relevant too. It's relevant because, quite frankly, the best way I can put it is efficiencies of scale, right? A lot of our businesses have scaled down over the past 3 months. Unfortunately, we've had to cut our hours. Unfortunately, we've had to cut personnel. We've had to cut OPEX, and we don't always have somebody answering the phone. We may not have the receptionist there at 8:30 in the morning. We may not have the sales team that is able to get back to these consumers right away, and we may not have that the numbers in the sales team to continue to follow up. So how to bridge that gap would be with AI. AI can do everything from answer those initial questions, directions, hours of operation. AI in our solution, it wasn't tough to roll out. We even have an appointment setter. So whether it's a car dealership, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a bowling alley, the AI sets appointments. Now, here's a trick with AI. We've all been in this situation. We've all been talking to a bot where we knew we had a good inclination that it was a bot, but the bot tried to pretend it was a real person, right? And then what do we find? We find ourselves doing? We forget while we're even on the website. Maybe we're on Macy's.com, hypothetically. And here's this bot that we know is a bot. We've got a feeling it's a bot, but they're trying to come off as a real person. We spend more time trying to trick the bot by asking them what the weather is in Bangor, Maine, than we do trying to buy the whatever we're there to buy. So one piece of advice, one tip that we'll leave everybody with the audience: if you're going to have a solution like this, come clean. You know, I'm a bot. I can help you out. If at any time you need to speak with somebody, we can go ahead and serve them up. Our solution that we have is omni-channel, which means it could be served up via phone, text, or chat, and we can communicate with you in the manner we prefer. But I'm a bot and I can answer most of your questions. I know when I used to call American Airlines or Southwest back in the day, and that automated system picked up, I'd hit zero and I'd hit zero, and I'd literally be on hold, and I'd have to go through 10 times. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Now I embrace it. Right now I embrace it. If I need to get a flight status or anything like that, I go through the phone tree. And because I know I work with the bot, and it's something that's become really, really popular as of late. So again, artificial intelligence.
All right, so this stat is something that shouldn't be surprising to anyone because we're all doing it. Text messaging. When you send a text message, even as a business, 95% of those text messages are read within 3 minutes. As opposed to email, I'm not saying you should never do email, but when you look at the results, emails, if they're opened, 1 in 5. So you can see with text messaging, like not only is it a high read rate, it's also immediate. So it's not taking hours or anything like that. So what we've started doing with our businesses, our consumers, and we even use it ourselves, is bulk texting. So you really only want to use bulk texting whenever you have a really good offer to get out or some kind of an announcement, but it is highly effective. So if you have some kind of special or offer going on, you want to choose your list that it makes the most sense for. So go ahead and send them out the text message through our tool. And then what you do know is that those text messages will have a 95% read rate within 3 minutes. So you also have to have a way to respond because if you send it to 500 people and everybody's reading it, you can't now leave them unread if they respond. So using artificial intelligence can also help you respond to every single one of those text messages that you send out, so that they can go ahead and schedule the appointment or whatever your call to action is right back through the text message. And they're not waiting forever for a human reply, which could happen if you send out a lot. And it's important that all of these messages are stored in one easy way for you to read them and respond. So make sure whatever dashboard you have is going to store all of your text messages that you send out, but also any incoming text messages that you're getting. So I always challenge anybody who comes on board with Digital Airstrike, let's put some textable numbers on your website, on your print ads, on your Google AdWords, anything, so that we can really see how some of these things are working for you. Because now if someone can text you right from your website, you're going to have exactly what they were looking for, and whether or not they schedule an appointment and end up buying, all the way through right here in the dashboard. So textable numbers for people to text you, and then also don't be afraid to use text messaging to reach out to your consumers. And you guys will definitely see an ROI from text messaging because the read rate is so amazing.
So 8 and 9 really tie together, or I should say 9 and 10, with the text messaging and the AI. AI is really taken off. You can use it anywhere. You could use it via your website. One thing that I wish I had gone back and talked about on the Facebook Marketplace slide is where I had mentioned that there's a big fallout in the communication where somebody wants to buy something, and because it goes through Facebook Messenger, a lot of businesses aren't checking their Facebook anymore.
Mhm.
AI is a perfect opportunity to incorporate it right there in Facebook Marketplace. And there's an example there on the screen that Lori was talking about. It can handle a lot of these conversations, and it could move these conversations along. So AI integrated with text is also just a home run. These are the text
Right.
conversations that your staff probably doesn't have time to, especially when you do a campaign and let's say you get 30, 40 texts all at once, there's no way you can respond to them in a timely manner. Why not have the AI take the first crack at those conversations?
Right. And it is important to note, though, Scott, before we move on, that with a tool like ours, you can always have a human jump in as well for more difficult questions, or maybe for like a really hot, like this is going to be a big sale for us. AI is kind of like insurance, so that if someone's doing it after hours, or if they're asking a simple question, or they literally just want to schedule an appointment, it's there for you. But we're not suggesting that you cut out all human element, which is why our tool allows for both.
It allows the staff to jump in when necessary. But didn't we do a study recently, Lori, where I think it was with General Motors, over 40% of the leads that were submitted to dealers as far as people that were interested in buying a car were after hours?
Yep.
So I mean,
And that's a lot of the time that the AI assistant is just going to save you.
Yeah. Otherwise, they're going to, when they get their survey, when the consumer gets the survey and say, how was the response time? I emailed this dealer at 6 o'clock and I didn't hear back from them for 14 hours. Well, the dealership was closed. It's not their fault. But again, AI could save you there as well. So those are the 10 bullet points that we wanted to go over. I'll share a real quick story for you, with you. When I started in my professional career, it was the late 90s, 1999. It was, if everybody back then remembers, the dot-com bubble. And when I started with the company, we were spending money left and right. And it wasn't until 2001, unfortunately with 9/11, that it put things into perspective. And I learned a phrase that has stuck with me for the past 20 years. I guess it would be 19 years now. Good times create bad habits, and bad times create great habits. And we're in a little bit of a rough situation right now with the economy. The stock market until today was in good shape again, getting to be good shape again. But with that said, a lot of businesses are down, if not the majority of businesses are relatively down versus Q4 and Q1 of this year. So with that said, there's never been a better time to inspect what you expect and to take a look at where you're spending your money. We've told clients, hey, tone down your expenditure in your showrooms because quite frankly, there's nobody there. Take that money from your brick and mortar and put it towards Facebook, put it towards your new showroom, your virtual showroom, which is online. We've been able to help a lot of our clients out as well, even our prospects, and we've got an offer for everybody here on the BBB webinar. You can get in contact with either Lori or myself. Our contact information is going to be on the next slide. Or you could basically go to our website, and what we would do is we would give you an unbiased look at your budget. You can share with us as much information as you want, but what we've been able to do is save a lot of our clients and a lot of our prospects a lot of money, because quite frankly, we've done hundreds of these budget reviews. So whatever industry you're in, that's something that we wanted to extend to everybody on this webinar and help you. Even if you're not a client, we're willing to take a look because it's very scalable for us. We do this all day, every day, and we've seen, again, hundreds and hundreds of budgets. So we could not only give you our opinion, but let you know how you compare to the other budgets that we've seen. That's us. That's the team. Lori's in there somewhere. I'm somewhere in the back. Again, we're here to help, whether you're an existing client watching us or you're a prospect. Don't be shy. Here's our contact info. Well, before we get to our contact info, Lori, we have another offer that I forgot about. What's this?
Yep. So this is, if you've been watching the entire webinar, you know how much I love video. So what we want to do is offer everybody on this webinar Video Logix, which is our video tool, free for 30 days. So there are a couple different ways you can use it. If you are a business owner or you're managing business, you can use it to film, like we were saying, video testimonials or an offer or an incentive. What's really cool, guys, we know right now, like during these times, there are definitely a lot of job seekers out there. So if you're on this webinar and you really want to look at ways to make your resume stand out, to make yourself stand out as a brand, we're still going to include that for you. And what you'll be able to do is really film yourself and your why buys, right? And your resume can be attached, and anybody who clicks on that will go to your personalized landing page. And remember, all free for 30 days with Digital Airstrike. And we know for a fact that this video, this landing page with your resume attached is going to help you stand out. So it's something we really hope that if you're out there watching, you take advantage of the free 30 days. And for the business owners out there, no brainer for you. You can get all the stuff you need filmed in 30 days and see the return on investment from video absolutely for free.
Great. As promised, here's our contact info. Those are both our cell phone numbers. You can email us as well. Or if you wanted to check out what I tell folks, if they want to get an experience for the AI that we're talking about, we use it on our website at digitalairstrike.com. You'll see a chat box in the top right side of our website. And you can kind of go through, we call it response path, because it takes you down a path. If you're looking for service, if you're looking for sales, for instance. And I think that's a great demo, way to kind of demo the technology that we're talking about. With that, Faustine, I promised you I wouldn't go beyond 1:45, and I think we hit it on the mark. 1:45. Do we have some time for some questions?
Yes, thank you. You're perfect on timing. I appreciate that. So we have a question from Melanie. With texting, you have to get customers to opt in. What is a common opt-in and out rate?
What's a rate?
Yes, what is the percentage of people opting in and opting out when it comes to text messaging?
So I know our opt-out rate was surprisingly low. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
We started this in, what was it, Lori, March, as far as our offering. And quite frankly, I've been privy to other solutions over the last couple years, and I've probably seen somewhere around a 10% opt-out rate. Surprisingly, the more relevant the offer is and the tighter the audience is, right? If you're sending that offer to intenders, if you're a pizza parlor and you're sending a pizza special to people that have been in your restaurant, you're going to see a lot lower of an opt-out rate. If you're just going through the yellow pages and just choosing numbers at random, which we would never recommend, but hypothetically, you're going to see a lot higher. We see 5%. We see a 5% opt-out rate at Digital Airstrike as far as what we do for our clients. So it was surprisingly low. Laura, I don't want to make up a stat on the spot. 87% of all statistics are made up on the spot.
Yeah.
I don't want to add to that. I don't have an opt-in rate. I don't know if you're privy to one.
Well, opt-in rate is going to vary so greatly depending on how you're getting them to opt in. So that is something that if you email me, it's right there, lglen@digitalairstrike.com. We need to really look more at like what the strategy would be, what list you're going after, because they might already be opted in if they're your current customers and they provided a cell phone, but it is a little bit different. So I will personally answer for you once I know more about your situation if you just email me.
Yeah, I wanted to expand on that. A best practice we see when you have a consumer face-to-face is to get that express written consent. That's what the TCPA wants to see, right? They want to see that express written consent to text the consumer. We see in the automotive industry when a dealership has somebody in front of them, they put it right there in the work order. So let's say Faustine or Melanie, in this case, Melanie, you're going to get an oil change and you drop your car off there at Camelback Toyota. Right there in what they call the work order, you would basically sign, right? Okay, oil change, it's going to be $60, what have you. And then on the bottom, what a lot of businesses are doing, once your car is ready, can we call or text you? If so, please fill in your phone number and sign here. There's their express written consent. In that example, to Lori's point, your opt-in rate's probably going to be about 99%. Who's going to say, no, you cannot text me, but you can call me? I think everybody would rather prefer. Yeah, we'll see if we can get those stats for you if you contact Lori after the webinar.
Great, thank you. We have someone that wrote, That's surprising that businesses don't read Facebook messages. A lot of people use them to find businesses. Can you elaborate a little bit more about that?
So the
So
question is that it's surprising that people don't respond to messages on Facebook?
Don't read Facebook messages.
Got it. Do you want to take that, Scott, or do you want me to?
Well, I don't know if it's a comment or a question. It surprises me as well. Whoever this person is, I would agree wholeheartedly. How do you have a Facebook account and ignore what your clients are saying, or maybe log in once a month to take a look at it? So I'm not sure what the question is. I agree with you, first and foremost. For us to elaborate on that, to try to justify why that's happening, I think I'd probably be as baffled as you are. You know, Facebook is where everybody is. A lot of businesses say, well, I'm a Cadillac dealer. I'm a Cadillac dealer. People on Facebook, they're kids. Kids don't buy Cadillacs. The average age, Lori, I'm going to give you some trivia. Do you know the average age of the average Facebook consumer today?
40 something, right?
42 years old. So, you know, it's, we're as baffled as you are. I don't know if we answered your question, but we're confused by the fact as well that folks aren't responding to comments and reviews on Facebook.
Yes, it looks like she followed up saying it's, she just followed up saying it's more of a statement.
Oh, we agree.
Yeah. Well, I will say that I've asked clients sometimes where we've implemented the bot, and the answer is usually, look, these people are messaging me during my personal time. Like, yes, it's my business, or yes, I'm the social media manager, but you know, like I've got to have time with my kids. I've got to eat dinner sometime. And if you're doing Facebook successfully, you're going to get messages. But I mean, most humans aren't going to be available to answer them 24/7. And I mean, that's just kind of hearsay what I've heard, but that's why a bot is so important, is for the times you can't answer.
Great, thank you. We have a question on text messaging. When it comes to text messaging a video, how long should a video be when you text message it?
I could take that one.
You or me? You got it?
Yeah, Lori had mentioned, and we didn't make up this stat. This is a stat from Google. You can Google it. For every second that your video goes over 1 minute, your abandonment rate shoots through the roof. So 60 seconds is that sweet spot. Now, here's another thing. When you're texting a video or even sending a video in Messenger, you don't want to have some really long URL, because that's going to take up those precious characters. You only have 160 characters in a text. You don't want to take it up with, watch my video. You want to be able to talk a little bit of why the consumer should click on the video. So what you want to do is you want to save the video to what's called a bit.ly link. A bit.ly link is a very shortened URL that the consumer could go to, and it takes them to that long YouTube URL, for instance. So you want to set up a short bit.ly link or a hyperlink that the consumer could click on, and to answer the question directly, less is more. A minute seems, under a minute it seems to be that sweet spot. We practice that as well at Digital Era Strike. We try not to go on and on. If it makes sense, send a second video. But a lot of people, if they see a 20-second video, I don't know about you, Lori, I don't know about you, but I always open them. Even if it's a blatant sales ploy and somebody's trying to sell me something, if I see that it's a 20-second video, I'll always give them 20 seconds. 2 minutes, I might watch the first 5 seconds and then say I don't have another minute and 50 seconds to watch this. So try to keep it under a minute, 1 minute.
Great, thank you. Here's another question that was submitted. Does there have to be bad language used in order for my business to have a rude rating removed?
So that is one of the caveats, right? So you've really got to check the rules of the different review sites. So the best thing, if you want to get a bad comment or a negative rating removed, bad language in most of the agreements, whether it's Yelp or Facebook or Google, yes. You make them aware that there's profanity. You know, there's so many reviews on these sites. A lot of the review sites don't have the bandwidth to keep up and read them all. So if somebody says something derogatory about your business and there's bad language, that's typically a reason, and you can get that removed. Another way you can get comments reviewed if it's skewing down your score is if it's not related to your business. I just wanted to tell you that I saw a Trump flag in front of this business and I don't like Trump, I'll tell you, well, that's really has nothing to do with the pizza shop in this example, right? So you could probably get that removed as well. But to answer your question, specifically, you'd want to know the rules. And then furthermore, don't forget what Lori talked about. It's not only about getting bad reviews removed to get your star rating up. What you could do is skew that by more positive ratings, whether that be by way of text. That's our secret. I'll let you in on our little secret. That's the way we drum up the majority of reviews for our clients, is sending them happy customers a link. And we have a texting solution that texts them a link to the reviews. And quite frankly, if it's a 4 or a 5, we've got the technology to have the AI work with that user to post it online. So yes, profanity, non-business related, and then the other solution to get yourself a higher score is to just skew those bad reviews with good ones, with adding more good ones.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. We have a attendee ask, can you speak more on cybersecurity? I'm unsure how to balance keeping privacy and producing a lot of content.
Laura, I'll let you take that one.
All right, so he's unsure, he or she is unsure about the content because of cybersecurity.
Yes, the
Maybe
question
just like
says,
reread the question one more time, because I want to make sure I answer it the correct
yes, it
question.
says, can you speak on cybersecurity? I am unsure how to balance keeping privacy and producing a lot of content.
Oh, I know what you're saying. Okay, so yeah, this is a hot topic. I think when a lot of people think cybersecurity and privacy, and a lot of that has to do with the list that they're advertising to, and how much of that information should you be using to like advertise, and what content. Like, how do you know if that list that you've created of people that have opted in care about the content that you're about to give to them? And what I would say the rule of thumb is for privacy and content is if they've opted in to receive your text messages, if they're following your Facebook page, if they are a customer of yours, don't be afraid to send them content as long as it's not multiple times a day. Where you get into trouble is when you start blasting people that you don't know. And especially with things like text messaging and emails, and really just be careful with your prospect list there, and never ever share your customers' info or even data, like lookalike data, with anyone. So when you put it into Facebook, it's secure, Facebook from there, but don't be giving that list out to everyone and what they've purchased and their age and all of that. That's really something that you need to keep within your business, and they trust you to protect.
Great.
Does that answer it? That's usually how people are asking me that question, kind of. I go to privacy.
Yeah, just let us know in the chat option if we answer that. Just want to make sure we get that answered. I don't see any other questions that have been submitted. So, but thank you very much to both Lori and Scott for taking time out of your busy day to present to us. And looks like the attendee said yes, thank you. So thank you, Lori.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to present our webinar. The webinar was recorded, so it will be posted on events.bbcommunity.org 1 to 2 business days. I will go ahead and have these the link to the webinar emailed to everyone along with their information. So if you do need to reach out to them, you can reach them out to them directly in the email. So thank you everyone for attending. Please have a great day and stay safe out there.